Excuse me, alive? They're never, ever going to accept a black gun guy. It was about 2011. I was at my friend's apartment, and I was excited because I had like a bag of guns. He was a photographer and a videographer, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, right? I'm gonna go to his house, set up the equipment, and create my very first gun YouTube video. So I get there, I unpack, I'm utilizing all this, setting up all the camera gear, thinking about how I'm gonna talk about this particular thing. And as I'm getting ready to set up, he stops me and goes, they're never going to accept a black gun guy. So now I want to go back to the very first time I ever shot a gun. I was about 24, 25. And I remember a good friend of mine telling me, just randomly, there was no rhyme or reason for it, but he asked me if I wanted to go shoot a gun. Now, up until this point, I had no experience with guns. Quite frankly, I was pretty anti. I didn't like them, didn't want to be around them. But my friend who had a gun wanted to go to the range randomly for some reason. Initially, my first thought was, I don't know. I really don't have any purpose for being at the range. I don't want anything to do with the guns because as far as I knew, the only people who looked like me and had guns were criminals. Granted, my friend had one, so. That being said, at the same time, there was a kind of weird duality in my thought process at the time. Because I considered myself very objective and someone who was very analytical. But yet, here I had this irrational fear of an inanimate object, and I wanted nothing to do with it. So I told myself, suck it up. Go to the range. At least go from the experience standpoint. But I'll be honest, I was terrified. So I get in the car with them, drive up to the range, and we get there, and I'm still thinking to myself, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? And I remember opening the door, getting ready to get out, and I'm like, I'm literally about to walk into a place that is filled with people who have guns that at any given moment can turn around and shoot me. That's the thought process that was going through my head. And I'm like, I'm gonna die. However, there's something more terrifying than dying. And that was losing face in front of my friend. So I erred on the side of, you know what, I'm not gonna lose face in front of him. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go through with this. So I walk inside, we get set up, I sign the liability forms, and I'm thinking, damn, they're even telling me that if I get killed or hurt, they're not liable or responsible for it. So like, this is messed up, man. Like, what kind of work is this? And you know, I get in and I'm like, all right, we walk in, I have the guns, we walk to the bench, and we set up. And I remember it's the very last lane on the left-hand side. And so he's showing me the kind of more surface level aspects of running the gun. He showed me how to load the magazine. He showed me how to rack the slide bag, all of those things. And I remember having this very acute thought. And I said, damn, this is interesting because my fear has inflated the idea of what this thing is. But it's actually pretty easy to use. It's a very simplistic object, which kind of speaks to why it's utilized so readily when it comes to protection. And it was something that crossed my mind at the time. So I remember I get up there, I get to the bench, I load everything up, exactly the way he told me to do it. And I stand there and I'm like, all right. And I'm bracing for it because I'm expecting godlike power to come from this gun. Because like I said, I didn't know anything about guns for the most part. And so I pull out, stretch out, and pop. Gun goes off. Raise your hand here. How many people have actually been punched in the face before? All right. Well, we got a bunch of brawlers in here. All right. But for those of you who have been punched in the face, it was the same for Mike Tyson. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. All right? And then you remember, you got punched in the face, like, whoa. You kind of step back for a second, like, I don't know if I want to keep going through with this. Or there's another part of you that steps up that's like, all right, let's go. Right? That was how the first shot felt. Now, in reality, that's not exactly what happened. The gun was actually pretty mildly tamed. But because of my fear, I kind of introduced that into the actual element of me shooting. And so that's how I felt like. I never experienced what a gun felt like going off. So, step back for a second, got back up, gathered myself, and I got back in it. And I shot it again. And immediately, I fell in love. Immediately. The weirdest thing, I've never experienced anything like this before, but I loved it. And it wasn't political, it wasn't based in ideology, it was just the pure experience of shooting something that I was inherently afraid of, and being able to contain that power and understand the shift in dynamic, because up until that point, all I knew was being a victim of gun violence. Never being able to utilize it for my own protection or my own self-sufficiency, right? And so when I realized that, it was off to the races, right? I was consuming content like no other. I was watching videos, I was researching, you name it. I was talking to people all night about it who really didn't want to talk about it. But it was a passion, and that's the thing about a passion, it fuels you. And I remember thinking to myself, man, like, I've never felt anything like this before, but then there was this odd sense of guilt. Why am I so passionate about something that's supposed to be so evil? At least that's what they've been telling me my whole life. Everything I saw in the media, everything I saw in the movies, the only time I saw black people with guns, they were either criminals or selling drugs. That's all I knew. But yet here I was being insatiably passionate about this item. So, I got to the point where I thought I had consumed enough content. I got to the end of the YouTube world of guns, right? At least I thought at the time. And I thought to myself, I said, okay, I think I've reached a point now where, like, I didn't grow up hunting. I grew up in the city. So for me, guns weren't part of my lifestyle, but now I have it as part of my lifestyle. And I want to express how I have it as a part of my lifestyle to other people so they could relate to it. Because by and large, I'm not gonna lie to you, the content I was consuming was made from people who've been doing it their whole life. Like they had their dads, their fathers, their mothers even would take them out to go shoot. I never had that. So I came at it from a very different perspective. I was a city kid, so I turned myself the urban gun enthusiast. And everybody thought it was because I was black. But it was because I grew up in the city. So now we're at that moment where I'm getting ready to cut on the camera for the very first time. And my friend tells me, they're not gonna accept a black gun guy. I remember when I stopped for a second, and I paused and I thought about it. And forgive my French, I was like, I don't give a fuck. Because I was driven by a passion at that point. There was nothing you were gonna tell me. I was gonna do it regardless. I didn't care if I did it and didn't get a single subscriber. I was gonna do it because it was what I was passionate about. And that's what passion does. It drives you past any barrier, any limitation. And that's what I did. So I set that camera up and I started making videos. I made more videos, and more videos, and more videos. And they weren't political. I was doing gun reviews, I was talking about what I was carrying on a daily basis, stuff like that. Granted, I was hiding guns in my house, my mom's house, but nonetheless, I was making videos. And then something started happening. Started getting these high-profile mass shootings. And up until that point, I hadn't looked at it through that lens yet. I wasn't in that world. I was just a guy who loved guns, and I wanted to express it to everyone. And then the legal mind started kicking in, because at the time, I was getting into law school. And so I'm watching the news, and I'm hearing all this talking and this discussing about, oh, we've got to have more gun control. We need to ban this. We need to do that in response to these mass shootings. And on the surface level, even at that point, it just didn't make any sense to me. It was like, why am I being punished for the act of somebody else? That makes no sense to me. And then not only that, you're going to create more laws for me that's going to ban certain items that I'm not allowed to have. But yet, I'm not a criminal. And by definition, a criminal's job is to break laws, so you're just creating more laws for them to break. But yet, since I obey them, I'm the one that's going to be at a disadvantage.
That's right.
That's right.
on that fundamental level, I understood it. But yet we have representatives that don't even understand that to most infinite level. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna say something. So I made a video called How to Stop the Mass Shooting, or How to Stop Mass Shootings. And it went viral. And it continued, and so after that I was like, you know what? I guess I'll make more political videos with respect to the gun issue. And I kept talking about different aspects of it, universal background checks, assault weapons ban, things of that nature. And those videos continue to go viral. And as I did that, I got the attention of the NRA. And it was an interesting time because I didn't realize what the national conversation about guns was like until I started doing those political videos. And it was incredibly volatile, incredibly divisive. And it was weird to me because I didn't think guns should be political. I think they should transcend the idea of ideology from the standpoint of whether you're right, left, whatever. Because the idea of being able to protect oneself, or just the sheer passion that someone could have with respect to firearms, that transcends politics to me. And so when the NRA came knocking, I thought, okay, this is a little odd. I think I'm being set up. No, real talk. Like, I really honestly wasn't even gonna go because they invited me out for a meeting. So what I said, I decided, you know, let me step back for a second and let me do my research. I did my research, learned quite a bit. And I was like, you know what? This is an organization that's in place to protect something that I am incredibly passionate about. And so it really reached a point where I was like, it was a no-brainer. So I flew out and met. And it was interesting. I expected to go there and see a bunch of old white men. I didn't. There were people actually pretty close to my age, some of them even younger. And basically what they said to me was, we just want you to keep doing what you're doing, but on our platform. And so I was like, cool. It was probably also one of the dumbest things that I've ever done. Because at the time I was taking the bar. And if anybody knows anything about taking the bar, the one thing you don't do is anything outside of studying and preparing for the bar. Well, I decided 2 to 3 weeks out from taking the bar to go out and make 6 videos. Yeah, that was fun. That being said, I did the videos, and then I put them out. Thing is, my passion made me a bit naive to the dynamic that was going on a national level with respect to firearms in the country. And when I put out those videos, there was a particular response. And it looked like this. Roll the video.
The only person responsible for your safety is you. Cops can't always be there. Obama definitely can't be there. This isn't a black or white, Democrat or Republican issue. This is common sense. This is self-preservation. It's about natural rights.
Common sense, self-preservation, you better have a gun, it sounds like he's saying, because President Obama can't be there to protect you. The police can't always be there to protect you. Your reaction?
I think it's an insult to the American people's intelligence.
A new video campaign featuring a gentleman by the name of Colion Noir is the NRA's chosen vehicle to stoke fear and increase gun sales. After watching that, Russell Simmons wrote the following: "Our community is not interested in a corporate-sponsored gun group telling us what to do, when their real mission is to make more money for the corporations that line their dirty pockets with rolls of cash and silver bullets."
The rapist talking crazy.
Yeah. Fiasco and things like that. And I think I was very approach me like that because you've in essence automatically thrown me into a category in a box, and you have no idea who I was. He had no idea what he was walking into.
The NRA lost a new video yesterday on Martin Luther King Day In the video, Colion Noir, a hip young black NRA spokesman, suggests Dr. Martin Luther King would frown upon the president's egregious gun control laws.
A young black conservative, I don't even know if he's conservative, young black NRA card-carrying member can't say, look, I'm black, I'm glad.
Yes,
I'm
not
glad.
an NRA member taking Dr. King's legacy. Absolutely not. It's too great a man for that punk. You're trying to tie it into that
Wow.
ridiculous organization.
What do you say now? A lot of your critics, they call you poser garbage. You know, they want to progress. I've heard you say once that you can progress this country to death. What do you say to them?
I like to call it elusive bigotry and arrogance. When you think you own the topic and you think you own, I guess, in their mind, cool, when somebody comes out who isn't exactly in line with the way they're thinking, it's kind of like, no, he obviously has to be fake.
That was my introduction to the national conversation. I'm not gonna lie, it didn't catch me off guard. Because what I realized was my friend was right. They're not gonna accept the black guy. The only thing that he was wrong about was who. Right? So the people on the other side of the issue who were supposedly supposed to be the friends of all the black people didn't accept me because I didn't fall in line with what a young black man is supposed to fall in line with respect to things in this country. And what made it even more frustrating was I was also being attacked by people who looked just like me.
Thank you.
That was a wake-up call. And what was interesting about it too was within the process of me understanding and learning about firearms from a historical aspect, from a political aspect, from an enthusiast aspect, there was so much that I learned and realized that I did not know. Because my journey into firearms was so organic. Like, I didn't get into it because I was on the street corner somewhere and NRA rolled up and said, here, put this hat on your head and talk, boy. It didn't happen that way. And so for me to be criticized and vilified for simply having a passion about something that is important as the Second Amendment was confusing to me. Because then at the same time, I realized and learned my entire life with respect to the black experience in this community, in this country with firearms, has been either a lie at worst, or just avoided altogether at best. Because I grew up going in an education system that told me that Martin Luther King was this pacifist. But in reality, he had an arsenal at his house.
That's right.
Not only that, he applied for a concealed carry permit and wasn't allowed to get one. No one ever told me about Robert Williams. I never heard about it. But then again, this is the same individual who got a charter from the NRA so that he could start a black rifle club in order to protect themselves against the KKK.
Yeah.
Nobody told me that in school.
Me neither.
I was talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yes. Right? Black Wall Street. You know what they didn't tell you? What? They were going toe-to-toe with the racist individuals trying to tear that community down. You want to know why? Because a lot of the men there fought in the war. And they had guns. And they knew how to use them. They were winning. They had to go and carpet bomb it and firebomb the community in order to win. Nobody ever told me that. They just told me I was a victim. Period. So it confused me when I come out and I advocate for the very same things that people who were leading civil rights movements were doing. And they were looking just like me doing it. It just didn't register in my mind. Yet, even now, when we fast forward to today, when we look at the state of our communities, like for instance, Chicago. Everyone wants to talk about Southside Chicago. Chicago. Hell, I even do it. Because there is a real issue going on in Southside Chicago. The odd thing is, they only ever talk about it through the lens of gun control. When's the last time you heard of a drive-by by a black kid living in suburbia? You don't hear it. There's a reason. There's a bigger issue there beyond gun control. It's an economic issue that they don't want to talk about. It's an environment issue that they don't want to talk about. It's a lack of an educational system that they don't want to talk about that collectively fuels a culture that's inherently destructive there. And no one ever wants to talk about that. Because our politicians and representatives have been using the gun and gun control as a scapegoat for decades so that they don't have to address the real issues, because the real issues are hard, they're difficult, they're complex. And ain't no awards for it because it's collective. The only way to really solve it is collectively. And if they can't stand up there and say, I did this and I passed this measure, and now I fixed the issue, they ain't gonna do it. They're just not. There's no advantage. So, here we are, talking about gun control. While for several decades and continue on, we still have to deal with the destruction of our communities. It's not even just our communities. It's other communities as well. When we talk about things like the heroin epidemic that's been going on, right? And all they talk about with respect to that is gun control, but yet they're facilitating and enabling the same destructive behavior with respect to drug use that's causing those issues. They don't want to talk about that. They don't. And they've been able to honestly ride that scapegoat for a long time now. And these were things that honestly I came to by way of my journey. From that second shot to where we are now. And within that time period, especially doing what I did with the NRA, I got the privilege, so to speak, of having my own show. And so I thought about it and I said to myself, well, I'm just one man. I can't one army man to death. I can't fix all of the issues, and I'm not gonna try. However, what I can do is at least use my platform as best that I can to at least expose some of these issues so that we can hold our representatives accountable. Because they're supposed to be our representatives. But if we don't hold them accountable, it does nothing for us. So, what I embarked on doing was with the 7th season of my show, I said, I've talked about this enough. I keep saying this is not about gun control, it's not about guns, it's not about this. And I kept saying it over and over and over again. But yet, what was I actually doing? Right? Because people will say, oh, well, what's your alternative? Well, what's the issue, right? So I decided, 7th season, would do just that. And decided that I was going to start going to these cities, going to Southside Chicago, going to Albany, going to Seattle, going into the belly of the beast, and exploring what are these issues. So at least it can serve as a catalyst to start addressing them, because it's gonna take time. And that's the only way I feel that we're ever gonna get to the bottom of anything and get beyond the scapegoat that is gun control. So I'm gonna play a video, it's a 5-minute video basically, which is essentially my mission statement for what I'm trying to do in season 7 of my show. Roll it up. What you see on TV.
A South Korea reporter will be 600 kills shot in this city.
What you read in the newspapers. Those Twitter battles you get into, it's not real. It's only 280 characters of what is really going on. A 15-second soundbite of the pain people are feeling.
14 people killed by gun violence this weekend. 2 men shot at a crowd during a block party.
A national emergency truncated down to a sentence-long quote appearing under the fold after the more salacious claims for numerous sources who wish to be unnamed. Fear, poverty, gang violence, a spiraling drug epidemic, a movement to remove the rule of law, a movement to remove your rights. These are not 5-minute blocks in the middle of the national evening news, deemed less important than porn stars, celebrity feuds, and a panel debating who's allowed to like Kanye. These are real problems that affect real people, good people. And they're being allowed to happen because local and state leaders are not being held accountable. Failed officials who aren't just keeping their people in poverty, crime, and violence, they're putting them into it. And because these truths are being buried, because real issues are not covered, these failed leaders are able to distract, manipulate, and lie. They tell their people that the reason for their woes is guns. The NRA are the ones chaining them to lives of despair, that those who may think differently are deliberately keeping them in the cycle of violence. It's why in just one weekend, the families of 66 shooting victims cry and mourn because a failed leader stays in power. weekend after weekend, as it happens over and over again. When they have guns as a scapegoat, no one cares about the mother in Seattle who won't let her kid go to the park because she's afraid he'll step on a used needle. Because her city now makes it easier for people to use drugs than to purchase a firearm. This nonsense we see every minute on TV is why the mothers of police officers and the mothers of inner city black males worry every night, bonded by some shared and twisted sense that something will go wrong. Living in fear because we can't as a country have a meaningful conversation without looking at the root causes, without being honest about the police or the youth, without demonizing law enforcement, using them for publicity stunts. It's how the homeless are allowed to overtake California, driving property values down for most, while the tech gods look on from the hills in billion-dollar homes, professing social justice behind a grin. It's why a grandmother whose neighborhood has been taken over by gangs lives in fear, but when she wants to buy a gun to protect herself, she's told she's the bad guy. They don't cover these stories because it's too hard. I tried to do it their way, going on their shows, pitted against someone from the so-called other side, allowing myself to be misquoted and taken out of context, being called slurs for offering a different viewpoint online. So now I'm gonna do it my way. Do something different. Do what they're too lazy or too afraid to do. I'm gonna travel to the cities and towns we don't talk about. I'm gonna go directly into the areas being run by leaders who hate me, who hate guns, who hate NRA TV, and who hate the NRA. And I'm gonna show you the people on the ground, impacted by their failures and unwillingness to lead. I'm gonna tell their stories, the ones the national news media won't. Because I believe that America is only as strong as its weakest communities. Because what is happening in Chicago could happen in Colorado Springs. The drugs in Seattle could make their way to Virginia Beach. The gangs in California could come to your homes. But most importantly, I'm gonna tell you these stories because it's the right thing to do. And I'll be an ally and an open book to every member of the state and local media in the areas I'll be visiting, willing to talk. Help me cover these problems. Help me bring attention to the forgotten men and women of your hometowns. The ones the national news won't cover because it's too hard. Help me shed light on the failed leadership that has chained good people to inescapable lives of poverty, crime, danger, and violence. Help me help your cities. Ask me anything, I'll answer. And to the failed leaders who have allowed widespread pain, despair, and hopelessness happen on their watch, while they scapegoat guns, gun owners, and the NRA, get ready, because I'm coming. And when you're finally being held accountable, you'll look up and you'll know that NRA TV was here.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
So, people always ask me, when they're having conversations about the gun issue, how do you go about doing it? Like, what's the best way to do it? Most importantly, you've got to create new gun owners. Because there are a lot of people who don't own them, so they stand to lose nothing. And thus don't understand the importance of it. But you also have to realize, even though I'm up there doing that with my platform, everybody here is an advocate. To different degrees and on different levels, but everyone here is an advocate. So whether or not you're talking to 300 people, 2 people, 1, just understand with each person, it creates a shift. It's incredibly important. I also leave you with this. Never let anybody dictate your passion. No one. I don't care what they say or what they do. Find a passion and run with it.
Yeah. Colion Noir. Colion Noir, ladies and gentlemen. Colion Noir. Yeah, it's my kind of issue. All right, boss. was Colion Noir, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here. I may come back in a little bit with some more people, but my battery's about to be
Y'all bring
dead.
that beat back. Bring that beat back. I like that song, man. I don't like nothing Drake be talking about, but that little guy's playing the part. Can y'all do that real quick, please? Just the guys playing the part.
Oh, you got a charge? Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm gonna cut this one though, but I'm gonna charge up. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Well, I got a dance.
Peace.
No, I can't dance. I can't dance.